Boss, you've had a period to reflect on the 2019-20 season now. Of course, there are a few special moments in there, ultimately led to relegation. What are your initial thoughts on the season as a whole?
Yes, first of all, with the general outcome, we are disappointed, without any doubt, because we wanted to stay in the best league in the world, and we're not capable to collect enough points in order to earn the right to do this. And for that, overall, we are of course disappointed with the outcome from the sports point of view. And if I'm honest, so my focus is always on the sports point of view. In general, I think, especially on the mid and the long term future of the club, it was still a pretty important and also probably then successful season there, because we're able to sort all our financial problems out. We're able that we are in a position right now that we have paid for our sins in the past. We were able to invest in the infrastructure, in the training ground, stadium, and also were able in the beginning of the season to extend several contracts, especially from our young lads. So in the mid and long term, also quite important, because it protects our group, it protects our best players, or creates values, because probably there will come some offers in, or have already. So for that, in general, I think for the mid and long term future of the club, pretty important season, and a promotion can never come too soon. So it was great for this club. Yeah, but of course we are all also disappointed that we are not able to stay in this league, and yeah, we want to come back rather sooner than later.
Yeah, what would you say are the main things that we've learned going into what we know is going to be a tough division next season?
It's difficult to speak about lessons there, because after relegation, it's not like you can name the three reasons why we are relegated and say, okay, listen, it's easy, it's just trivial. Next time, these are the 3 points. We have to improve this, and we stay in this league. If it would be that easy, would have done this without any doubt. So, in general, it's always a bit more complex. It's more like we didn't start naive into the season. It was more like that we analyzed also what you need to do in order to be successful as a promoted team, and not just in last year, but also like you analyze the past, more like the last 20 years, and also you look a bit abroad. So which teams are successful after promotion? And in general, you have to say that the teams who are promoted because of a solid defense and solid defensive behavior, they find it easier to adapt to a higher level, because on a higher level they are still solid in terms of defending, and when they are then able to add some quality in the offense, and take the euphorism of the promotion with you in the new season, they have a good chance, especially in the first season, to stay in this league, to stay on this level. They have more problems than the year after, because when there's no offensive plan anyhow, they are struggling then when their euphorism is away, and then to take the next step. And the other thing is, teams who are promoted because they have a brilliant offensive plan, they are possession-based side, it's more like they find it unbelievably difficult to be successful in the first season, because on a higher level, they're not that outstanding anymore. And they have to do what is not that much in the DNA of the players. It's more like to defend, to be absolutely solid. Also, the offensive players who were praised that much for their performance in the season before, then also to be there with good defending behavior. So quite often this type of teams are struggling a lot in the first season. Once you are then capable to stay in this league, then the second and third year is much easier. So it was 30 years ago the same. It's still today the same, and will be the same in 30 years, and not just in England and in all other countries. And for that, we knew we are pretty much a possession-based side. We're praised for our offensive style. We knew that there are just two solutions in this moment. Either to say, okay, we forget about our style, we forget about our principles. Right now, we change everything and just try to park the bus, try to defend everything, try to be there with clean sheets, hope for God's help up front, anyhow, and go for this type and brand of football. And but to be honest, if you want to do this, then you also have to change more or less our squad there, because you have planned the squad with many possession-based players, not with unbelievable great, tall, physical defenders, more with many technical players. So in order to do this, a completely change of your style, you also need to invest a lot of money. So that's the first solution. And to be honest, it was no option for us. And the second option to be successful is then, okay, you need to add lots of quality to the squad. But to be honest, not just numbers. You need to add really quality that makes you better, that improves your offense. To bring, for example, top class defenders in, because you need then to bring defenders in who are used to defend on the top level, and also like better quality than we have in the offense. And let's be honest, so these type of transfers start with amount of double figures. Then you have to invest 10, 15 million pounds per player in order to get this quality. And this is the second option. And if you can't use one of this option, either to change completely your style in the squad or to bring top class quality in, it will always be a struggle in the first season. And if I'm honest, we knew this from the start. And we opted to stay solid, because of course it was also possible in the summer to say, listen, we take the risk anyhow, we don't pay for our sins in the past, we don't invest into the infrastructure, we don't invest into the training ground, we also take some risk and sign a few players for double figures anyhow in order to give ourselves a chance to stay in this league. But that means then you're also in financial trouble if you have to go down, because as a newly promoted side, even if you spend that much money, it's not a guarantee that you will stay in this league. So for that, we opted to go for the smart and solid option. That means to pay for the sins, to invest in the infrastructure, to invest in the training ground, to extend some contracts, to stay absolutely solid, in order to do this for the mid and the long-term future. But we already knew from the first day after promotion and after this decision was made, we knew, okay, we have perhaps a 5% chance to stay in this league. And of course, I'm responsible for the sport point of view. Yeah, if I would have been selfish, I would have said, no, we need to sign players. We need to sign 2 center-backs, 1 midfielder, 1 goalkeeper, 1 striker, 1 winger, for unbelievable amount of money to give ourselves a chance. But I think the club took 100% the right decision. And once we took this decision, for me it was then clear we have perhaps a 5% chance. And I've said this from the first day after promotion. And to be honest, in the euphorism of promotion, no one wants to hear this. If I speak about this, more like, yeah, it's good, he's smart, he's doing understatement anyhow, so it's more like, but they will be all right, they were fantastic in the championship. No, it's no understatement, it's more realistic. And after the first loss, I say, okay, they will be all right. After the second loss, yes, they will be all right. And if the outcome is then relegation, it's more like, then you look at the quotes and say, wait, he wasn't convinced from the start anyhow. He should have been more positive anyhow. So you can't do the right one, because if we would have said in the summer, no, we'll be absolutely fine with our way and we'll stay in this league without any doubt, and the outcome is then relegation, everyone would say, yeah, they're naive, they're stupid anyhow, they don't have a clue. So you can't win whatever you say in this moment. For that, we opted to be absolutely honest, absolutely direct, and say, listen, we have a 5% chance. And in order to use this 5% chance, we need that everything has to come together. We need a perfect start. We need unbelievable luck in terms of injuries. We need unbelievable luck with the developing of the season, game luck. We need luck with VARs, also like that the teams we are playing are not in a perfect shape. And I don't want to complain too much about fate and don't use it as excuses, but we had an unbelievable tough start also from the program. We played the first game days, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea. Was a tough start. Then I think no other team was hit with more injuries, especially injuries of key players, without any doubt. And also, like, I got the feeling, so we lost many games just with one goal. We're also, of course, 4 or 5 times really trashed against a top class side, yes, but we lost also many games with one goal, so had perhaps even a few more draws too much. it was also quite often close and also pretty close. I think VAR was also not on our side. So it's not an excuse, but I just want to explain, with luck in terms of injuries, with luck in terms of injuries of key players, that all the key players are always in a great shape, a bit of luck in VAR, perfect start, it would have been possible for us to be there, with, I don't know, 15 points more and to stay in this league, to work out this miracle. But like I said, in 19 or out of 20 cases, it would be realistic to go down, and it's nothing we were aiming for. It's also still disappointing and nothing we accepted. So it's more like, can be sure. So Intel, we're fighting and working our socks off in order to avoid relegation and to try everything. And also the players, they tried everything, and we as a coaching staff, we tried everything. So we have more or less played more or less each and every possible formation. We've played different type of players, different styles. We've tried everything. In the end, we have to accept, okay, and say, listen, we are disappointed, but when the dust is settled, you have to say, okay, out of our developing, out of our history and of the season was probably then the expected outcome. And we know all this, and the lessons, if you ask for lessons that we've learned, it's more like we took this promotion without any doubt and we wanted to be promoted. But we know already that it was perhaps, let's be honest, 2 or 3 years ahead of schedule. And we want to make sure that once we're capable to come back, that we are then better prepared, and we will be better prepared, because we don't have to invest then in new infrastructure. We don't have to pay for any sins in the past. The team will be a bit more experienced, and it's not necessary it would have been necessary to add 6 or 7 top class players before the season started. Hopefully, once we are back, we are much more developed and with more experience as a club and as a team, and you just need 3 or 4 additions. And these 3 or 4 additions are then affordable because we don't have to invest in the infrastructure. We don't have to pay for sins in the past. And this is quite important. Also, in terms of physicality, it's important that we have players who are also physically absolutely prepared, not in terms of fitness level, because our fitness level was outstanding. So it's also objective data tell you this truth, but also that they have the pace and the power and the strength, more like that these players that we have, that they are athletes. That's also quite important on the top level, and these are more or less the lessons we take out of the season.
Yeah, and the younger players will be more experienced in a few years as well, of course. They've had a few opportunities in the Premier League this season. We think back to the FA Youth Cup, seeing Josh Martin sort of burst onto the scene and score a hat-trick against Newcastle, and he's since featured in your squads, as has Adam Edis. So what have you made of the progress of the academy this season?
I'm full of praise of them, and I'm happy. So probably no other club in the whole Western Europe plays with more own academy products than we do. So the last game days were always 6 or 7 lads on our own academy in the game day squad, in a squad of 18 or 20, and this is remarkable. This is absolutely remarkable, and a credit to our way. I think no other club is able to be competitive on this level and have so many own potential talents in the game day squad. But it's also, we can't forget how challenging and demanding also this season is even for our best talents. And we had, once we were promoted in last season, top class talents, and they have also proved during this season they're capable to play on the top level. But it was for them also like the first season on top level, and it's not easy with all the demands and challenging. Not so much on the football pitch, because when you're prepared, you are prepared to play. But also, let's be honest, for several lads, it was the first in their career that there were also setbacks and disappointments. When I think about Max Aarons, straight away from his academy time, so he came after a few weeks into the first team squad and played each and every game. Same with Jamal Lewis. Same after his loan with Ben Godfrey. Same with Todd Cantwell. So there was just one way. So from months to months he developed and was even more important for us. The same with Emi Buendia. So since all these guys were the yellow shirt, they just knew one way. The way was up last season. we had, you can count our losses in the championship on one hand, this in 46 games. And we responded after each and every loss with a win. There was no setback and no time for doubts and criticism of this young lads. And on this level, Premier League level, sometimes you have a back-to-back loss. There is also criticism from the fans, from the supporters. You see a limit. You're sometimes involved in goals. You're not delivering that many assists or goals anymore. So for our fullbacks, for our wingers, our offensive players, you're involved in goals, Ben Godfrey sometimes. So it's unbelievably challenging and demanding. And to deal the first time in your life with setbacks as a young human being is difficult. And especially in this surrounding, because in their surrounding, they are Premier League players, they are superstars. They have expectations of their agents, of sometimes even their family. So most of our lads have a brilliant background, and I'm grateful for that. But even their families think they are right now already superstars, and the agents, they start to be brand manager, to look after their social media. It's important how the picture is in the social media, and I try to improve them and to teach them. Okay, the body position has to be different in terms of defending the cross. Your positioning has to be better in order to develop our game a bit more. And they have guys around who say, no, listen, you're already a superstar. It's quite normal, because thousands of agents are waiting for these players. And if their own agent doesn't tell them, no, you're already made for the highest level and you're fantastic and you need to be there with your brand and attacking fullbacks. And it's more like you have to go, you to take risk, or centre backs praised for the build-up. No, go for the on with risky passes. Our offensive players, no, you have to be special. We need some good moves anyhow and celebration on the goal. Then you're more concentrated on this. And I don't accuse them. It's quite normal, because when you live in this surrounding and everyone has his expectations, it's not easy to stay focused and to stay leveled and to stay focused on the most important thing. That is to work pretty hard on the football pitch. And I'm full of praise for my young lads, because I think they handled and coped with this surrounding fantastic. But it's still their first season, and it's still not that they're doing everything 100% all right, and they still have to learn how to handle setbacks and criticism, and to handle that the coach tell them, okay, you have to improve this and this topic. And the agents who wants to and all their private lifetime, now you're already a superstar and you can already play for Man City and Liverpool and Man United and Real Madrid. It's not that easy, and you have to learn to adapt to this and to cope with this. And I don't have to teach Alex Tete anymore or Tim Krul, though they are leveled and they know what it means. But for this young lads to have the first season on this level, it's not easy to cope with this. And I think they've done it in a brilliant way. But still, of course, they have to learn, and they will learn out of the season. And that's what I mean. So when they have already 35 games on this level, next time when we come back, they're much better prepared, and for that they will play with even more consistency and more efficiency, will be more efficient. And that's why I said it's okay. It was for some of them even a bit too soon. This promotion was still unbelievably important for them and their developing. But once we are capable to come back, and once they are capable to come back, I think they will be much better prepared.
We made a few signings for the future in January, and there's been busy with recruitment this summer as well. Is that a sort of sign of our intentions going forward, that we've sort of been proactive in signing players before selling them, I suppose?
Yes, it's important to be proactive and to be not under pressure. So first of all, one key topic will be to keep our best players. And I think we are in a quite good position, because we don't have any financial problems at all. Then the second thing is also like that our scouting, our recruitment is always aware of young talents, but it's also important not to put too much pressure on them. If we sign 4 or 5 young talents, for example, from lower tiers, from tiers abroad, from let's say the Luxembourg League, for example, or second tier in France, or here from League 1 or League 2, you won't expect them immediately to be the best player on their position. If just one of these 4 or 5 signings is capable to have the breakthrough, then everything was right. So I'm unbelievably careful in praising them too much too early. So we will give them the time. They will have a good stage in order to present themselves. We will create a surrounding where if they are hardworking and fully focused, they have everything in order to grow and to improve and to develop, and hopefully they will. But the core group will always be the group that is together, and we need to keep our best players. And you also need to have some, proper, also a bit experience signings, also experience on this level, where you say, okay, there we have a bit higher guarantee that they deliver on this top class level. And this is also what we are looking for, always regarding, okay, which financial possibilities we have, and if they can also help us on the mid and the long term. So we are also quite focused on this type of transfers, and for that it's brilliant to have these young lads and lots of potential. But it won't be enough to promote them. That's also for sure. But they have a great club in terms of trust, in terms of giving them time, and also the stage in order to develop. And this is also one of our important topics in our way.
Yeah, and the last few weeks have been a difficult period for all involved. Perhaps none more so than the fans, who I'm sure would have loved to have kind of been the 12th player and help out inside the stadium. So, when hopefully they can come back to Carrow Road, how much are you looking forward to seeing them again, and what's your message to them throughout this period?
Yes, this was another topic I didn't mention before, because it was also a big disadvantage. Because it's newly promoted side, when everything has to come together, each and every newly promoted side needs her fans in order to help them to go over the line. And after the lockdown, we had more home games than away games. So it was also a disadvantage not to play in front of our home games, because it's always good when they are there. We need them. We need to create the special unity. And I think our poor results are not just coincidence. It's also like, it also has to do that our supporters were not there. So we, especially such a young side, they need the emotions and they need the boost. It's easier for bigger clubs when the emotions are out of the game. Then it's always like about individual quality and quality. And in these topics, all the other clubs have advantages. And it was also no coincidence that before the lockdown we had some brilliant results. We're able to beat Tottenham away in the cup. We're able to beat Leicester City, and we had the momentum on our side. And this momentum was a bit killed with the lockdown. So it was another big setback that was against us. So we couldn't complain, because it is a worldwide pandemic, and there are more important topics sadly at the moment than just if Norwich stays up or not. So we had to accept this, and we had to accept that we have to play behind closed doors. But it didn't help us, and we're all looking forward to have our supporters back, because this is also one of the biggest strengths of this club, to have this unity between our supporters, our players, our staff, that you've got the feeling there's one unity fighting for the yellow shirt, not just 11 players on the pitch, but more like with our yellow wall in the stadium, even in the away games. And we can't wait to have them back in the stadium.